It feels good to be back in the studio again.
Hooray!
Woohoo!
How's it going, y'all? Aiden Anderson here with the Moscow Minutes. For the first time in a while, we have news from the county as well as from the city this week. So, let's get right into it. The county commissioners have made some strides forward with a community development block grant for the Princeton-Hampton area. The main highlight for this week, however, is some new tech that the Sheriff's Department is trying out right now. This week, the Sheriff's Department presented on the rollout of some new camera tech for their officers' uniforms and their patrol vehicles. I had a chance to speak with a few folks, including Captain Shane Anderson and current Sheriff Richie Skiles, about the new camera tech and what it means for the department going forward. The new body cameras are more compact and less prone to falling off a uniform than the old ones, and come with a number of features, such as a gyroscopic sensor and accelerometer that turn the camera on automatically under a number of circumstances. Though manual control is still possible, the intent is for an officer to be less focused on the state of their camera and more focused on the situation at hand. Similarly, the cameras in the patrol vehicles are meant to activate automatically under certain conditions as well, such as when the officer turns on their vehicle lights. One of the more impressive features of the new camera system is that all the cameras are connected by an encrypted cloud network, allowing dispatch and officers on duty to see the physical locations of other vehicles and officers as well as their status. For example, if an officer turns on their vehicle lights and begins a pursuit, the others will be able to see them and their active status on the map and respond accordingly. Officers can also take their own individual pieces of footage and share them with other officers to keep lines of communication clear and secure. Each patrol vehicle has been outfitted with their own Wi-Fi network to keep everyone connected while using this system. A grant in the amount of roughly $450,000 provided the funds required for this new camera setup. The plan right now is for all officers and all patrol vehicles in the county to carry cameras that are a part of this new system, and that change will take place very soon. The Sheriff Department's old system relied on actively available storage devices to maintain and store footage. This resulted in the department spending a lot of time on downloading and uploading to various county servers in order to maintain its volumes of video evidence. With this new system, both time and disk space are significantly streamlined and freed up, allowing the officers to collect more footage and spend more time patrolling the streets. Both the sheriff and his deputies expressed confidence in the new system and the hope that it will be a great improvement to both the efficiency and proficiency of the department. Now let's turn our attention to the Moscow City Council.
I am a little intimidated.
I'm still alive and kicking.
I am a recovering boardie.
You are bleeding and you're sweating. You are a bloody pulp on the ground. And you are wishing you weren't.
Their meeting on Monday began with a proclamation for National Pollinator Week and an annual report from the Transportation Commission on their past year of activities, including a variety of work on subdivisions and bike paths. This was followed by a public hearing providing a status update on an Idaho Community Development Block Grant. Alyssa Anderson of city staff presented on the progress of various city park projects, a portion of which were funded by a grant received in 2020 in the amount of $225,000. The projects in question include restroom remodels at Mountain View Park and a new prefab restroom building at Indian Hills Park. Since receiving the grant, the projects in question have undergone some changes related to budget difficulties, such as inflation, and challenges finding contractors to complete the work. The city is now considering finishing the projects on its own, and Alyssa went through potential future costs associated with this plan while fielding questions from the council. As there was no public comment made and no vote to be taken at this particular hearing, the hearing concluded and the council moved on. And now, an update on the East City Park Stage project. If you remember a couple weeks back, there was quite the debate over the decision to hire Design West architects to produce a 30% conceptual design and cost estimate for the total replacement of the East City Park stage, based on plans from 2010 detailing a different-looking stage design. The vote only passed with a tiebreaker vote from the mayor, with the council divided evenly on the issue. This week, Ned Warnick of Design West Architects presented on the ideas that led to the design of the stage back in 2010 and the rationale behind revisiting this plan in the present. Council then discussed this update amongst themselves. Some of the same concerns about fiscal responsibility and community transparency were brought up, as well as questions about longevity, legacy, and how different types of stages might serve the community best. Let's take a look at some of the council's opinions in their own words.
My questions were never to imply that I'm not open to this. I'm feeling a lot of feelings. My therapist would tell me to name them, and I don't even know where to start. I'm driven by frugality. I'm driven by being scrappy. And again, the reason I keep banging the drum about not moving the stage is because I still don't even understand what it looks like for us to not move the stage. I feel like I don't have a big enough picture to be excited about moving it. And so that being the penny pincher I am driven by understanding if with public engagement, which is very hard. And I know I will never make everyone happy, and I can hardly make myself happy, both sides of myself happy in a day. I want to understand what not moving it would look like in terms of finances, in terms of if our community is happy with that or not. And so Gina, like I think what you were able to verbalize after I ran down all my list of big question marks about the Dancers Plaza and the grass and the trees and the path and whatever. Yeah, eye to the future. Those things can be uncomfortable for a couple of years, and we may be better for it if we move the stage. But I just want to understand if I can appease a number of people, if the majority of people are happy with us not moving the stage by copy pasting, putting it where it is, keeping them as two separate buildings, and understanding what the cost is. And I don't know what 30% will get me in terms of those numbers, because my sense is that 30% will give us updated numbers with the shift to the Northwest. So
I have a couple of things. One is that I do think we respectfully need to move forward in Moscow. And sometimes that is super hard. And people don't want things to change because we live in a great community. And I understand that. I don't love change either. But I think there are real concrete reasons for us to move the stage. And that is that we can allow for better seating, more seating, that the view of the stage isn't blocked by large old trees, that we won't, as I understand it, we won't need to cut down any of the older trees in the park if we reorient the stage. Whereas if we build a bigger stage right there, we would run into some big trees. And so I understand that people have feelings about the stage. And I saw, my little girl up there doing ballet on that old stage too. And, I have nostalgia for it. And I've been to a lot of events there, of course, with my kids and through the years. But the reality is we're growing, we're changing, our arts community is growing, and we need to provide them with a stage that's appropriate for them and a place for people to engage in the arts performances that's big enough for our population. And so I know that people have a lot of feelings about this, but I think there's real concrete, no pun intended, reasons to adjust East City Park and make it something usable for everyone. And so I would love to figure out some way to be respectful of the work that people did 40 years ago. I count many of them among my friends, and figure out a way to honor that by using the stage, using the wood, doing something, to honor that.
That's a good idea.
But I really think that this is a change that is necessary. And so I understand we want to get a lot of public input, but when there's real concrete issues to just keeping things the same or rebuilding in the same spot, then we have to give voice to those things as well. So I'm just trying to understand Moscow. We like our town, we like things the same, but I think this change in the stage was designed this way for a reason 14 years ago, And those reasons haven't changed.
The last two items moved through relatively quickly. First, city staff presented on a reimbursement agreement with the Homeland Security Joint Task Force to allow the city to be reimbursed for overtime accrued by their own Detective Maury and his work with the task force. Second, the city considered a pre-authorization request for 2 grants in the amount of $1.5 million and $3.5 million related to facility development and additional apron space for the Moscow-Pullman Regional Airport. Both these items were approved unanimously by the Moscow City Council. That's all I have for you this week. As always, we'll have the relevant links posted with this video, and if you have any questions, please reach out. This is Aiden Anderson with the Moscow Minutes. We'll see you next time.